did he get his job? Is he a professional shooter? Or is he just like firing off the thing, which is no longer a cap gun? It's now a
electronic thing.
Just makes a noise. So what should you do next time you're overcome by the urge to pass wind in a public place? Well, they say try and take yourself off to the gents or the ladies. But whether you make it there or not, they said the best thing is for your gut help is just to let rip.
I'm down with that.
I went on a bus trip in high school from Sydney to Bathurst. And as soon as I got on the bus, I went, this is a bad mistake. There was no toilet on there. I held that shit in for 2.5 hours.
So Lithgow Macca's, no doubt.
No, not even. They didn't stop. It was closed.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would have just gone to everyone, it. Mentally prepare yourselves. Oh, Lord, it coming.
I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I went through pain that night.
So it didn't come up into your mouth and come out as fart breath.
Well, I'm now talking shit on a podcast with you, so there might be some psychological shit that's been left behind.
Proving that they'll put a Bluetooth speaker anywhere, Benny, there's been a new one released. I'm going to introduce to you the Baby Pod. Benny, it's the vaginal sound system to give your fetus a concert.
What?
It's a vaginal sound system to give your fetus a concert.
See these headphones I'm wearing, I'm taking off and on and off?
Yeah.
Don't ladies put them there on the gut to play?
That's so 1990s. Now, you shove a Bluetooth speaker up your
Come again?
You shove a Bluetooth speaker up your introducing the Baby Pod. So, it's basically a small kind of Benoit egg-shaped thing with a speaker grill at one end.
I don't know. I don't even know how to react to this.
So
what are the...
It goes in your hoo-ha.
What are the slogans that they sell this product with?
Well, some people might say this is actually from a show called Things Not to Put Up Your Tuesday.
Yeah, I'd agree.
All right. So
Channel 4
the Baby
this.
Pod. It's basically a musical tampon or a radio.
How big is it?
Vaginal sized? I don't know.
Yeah, but what's vaginal size? Ladies?
Ladies?
He can't answer it.
Just
tell me about the shape.
All right. So it's roundish.
Is it eggish?
It's an eggish. It's pink for obvious reasons because...
Is it waterproof?
Well, it'd have to be.
It'd want to be. Tell me about...
It's a radio for your ladio. Jams for your clan. iTunes for your poon. Beats inside your meat. It's a speaker for your heater. It's hey, hey, hey for your vajayjay. And putting on the Ritz for your bits, basically, Benny. So, apparently...
I like all of those, but I'd prefer Wu-Tang for the poontang.
Oh, nice.
This is The Burble with Benny and Az.
Over with the speed round because, let's face it, the shit that you bring is just making me cough. Can't do it. But now, Az, I'm pissed off.
Why?
I'm pissed off.
Why are you pissed off?
A WA mother has called for a national register that documents all permanent disabilities after she was repeatedly contacted by Centerlink to prove that her son still had Down syndrome.
What?
Now, it's not...
Hang on, what? No.
To prove that her son still had Down syndrome. It's not something that you can be cured from.
Or grow out of. Or
you But she's based in Geraldton with her 16-year-old son, James, who's got the condition. She receives a carer allowance of about $130 a fortnight and puts that money towards supporting James in doing his favourite things, diving with his dad, fishing, and his work experience at the local IGA.
Cool, that's awesome.
Centerlink have given her a bell and asked whether or not he still had the condition. Who is the Einstein at Centerlink? And I'm serious. Who the is the Einstein at Centerlink that thinks that Down syndrome is a curable thing? I'm sorry. That's whoever that person is who made that phone call, come over here and I will shove my foot up your everything. That is a stupid thing.
It's a low act.
Can you imagine Michelle receiving this phone call, or even if they printed it on paper?
But no, okay, printing it on paper may be a computer error. Maybe the computer was like, oh, we've got to check on everyone on the disability register every 5 years, so send out a letter to everyone.
Are you sticking up for Centerlink?
No, I'm saying...
You're sticking up for Centerlink.
Let me
You're sticking up for Centerlink.
I am definitely not sticking up for Centerlink. Maybe a computer error. If there was no humans involved, okay, maybe it's still shit.
She took a
But-
phone call from
Exactly,
a
that's what I'm saying.
human.
Did this human not look at the running sheet before she made the phone call?
I don't know.
This is what I'm trying to say. How up is that? You're at Centerlink and you get given a clipboard in the morning and your boss goes, right, ring these people and make sure they're still disabled.
No. Can I tell you, I'm going to go further in the story now. She was made to go to a doctor because the payment was cancelled.
No.
Go to a doctor, James's doctor, and get a form signed from the doctor confirming he still has Down syndrome.
Me.
Bureaucracy up your ass. That's bullshit, dude.
It gets better.
It doesn't get better.
It does. She sent the note back into Centerlink, then they didn't call her for a month.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't. They rang her when James was 5 or 6 years old and confirmed that the diagnosis was correct and whether or not it started from birth. So they've made a number of trip-ups in this whole story, bro. So once the initial diagnosis letter was supplied at birth, by the way,
Yep.
at birth, it should put an automatic trigger in place that no further confirmation of diagnosis is required. No reviews, nothing. Claims for carer allowance or transfers from child to adult, disability pensions, all that shit. Centerlink, though, obviously being the output at the end of a government trying to save money,
Yes.
to me, is despicable. That's despicable.
It's disgraceful.
No, it's despicable. Banging the desk. Pissed off about this.
It's not cool.
Anyone who listens to this podcast who happens to work for Centerlink, I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the bullshit bureaucracy that's above it.
Maybe that one person that read out, check if you still got Down syndrome and still made a phone call. We're going to attack you.
'Cause
you're an idiot.
The lowest form of pond scum idiot
Yes.
in the world. No, not even you. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you a break. You were forced to make that phone call. I'm going to kick the blame up the chain.
Yep. Even parking inspectors look down on you.
They understand the importance of the role of carers and all that kind of thing. But when a carer allowance child turns 16, they're required, they say, under legislation, to transition the carer onto a new payment category. Okay? Now, to do this, they need to supply a new medical report, which is ridiculous. I'm reading... I just went back on the side of Centerlink. Nah, you. I had to rely on Centerlink for a minuscule amount of time. And I hated every second of it. I hated every second of it. Every goddamn second of it. You make it so hard.
Yeah.
And they expect you to bend over and try and go for this job and go for that job. It's a perpetual cycle. You're not helping anyone. You're just handing out.
Well, it's not even that. They make it that hard that people give up. And then
Yes.
you don't have to deal with them anymore.
Yeah, we're all about nonsense in this podcast. This is just stupid shit.
This is worse than putting a Bluetooth speaker in your hoo-ha.
You Centerlink.
Loose talk, even looser opinions. The Burble.
As if you don't mind, I want to finish on something that's nonsense. I'm going to leave all this other stuff, which will probably be irrelevant next week, but I want to finish on this. 2 blokes have been busted around with a semi-automatic rifle after one of them rocked up the hospital with a mark on his chest and an extremely unbelievable cover story.
Where, Benny?
Arkansas.
Ah. America!
This bloke set off alarm bells when he told doctors that he picked up the injury when he accompanied the asset. He was being paid $280 to protect to a meeting of the other man. Now, he said that the meetup ended in a gunfight, declaring that he'd returned fire but was hit multiple times before fleeing in a car.
What?
The 50-year-old then eventually admitted that he and Hicks had been playing with a bulletproof vest, with this other bloke egging him on to shoot him while he was wearing it.
Oh, for sake.
Hold my beer.
That is a hold my beer moment.
Now, he was shot and it made him pissed enough to shoot the other bloke 5 times in the back.
Oh,
So
Lord.
His 36-year-old friend was wearing the vest by this point, and he wasn't hurt by the retaliation, so at least there's that. But they'd shoot as many as 50 to 100 rounds at a time at each other. Apparently, they're just dumb. I just want the podcast to reflect that.
Couple of good old boys in America.
Couple of dumb.
Got lick it up, and then thought it'd be a good idea
Yes.
to shoot each other
Yes.
while wearing bulletproof vests.
Exactly right.
And
That's
then
what
had to go to hospital.
That's right. I'm going to go for another story if I can. I'm going to try and stack this podcast because I really wanted to get this. And we mentioned a whole bunch of stuff at the beginning of this podcast we're going to talk about.
All right.
But we haven't done it.
No.
Now, this is audio of a bloke trying to read a book on a train by himself, and then some Torch of Christ preacher gets on the Sydney train. By the way, he's American.
We care more about saving the whales than we care about saving our unborn children. We care about how
Thanks,
deep our...
mate. Thank you.
Nope, I'm not going to stop because I love you that much.
Now, this is what he said. I love you that much. I'm going to talk about unborn children. He goes on to say...
Okay, we have to... You don't care about anything. It's a selfish world that you live in. And you need to repent because people are
Who's
hurting
the selfish
and
one here,
suffering.
mate? Who's the one who won't shut up with their opinions?
Now, this is old mate on the train, right?
How selfish
You're
is
giving
that?
your opinion right now. You're cheering, but it's crazy. You're
You're
wrong
the
is right
selfish
and right
one
is
because you
wrong.
won't shut up.
Right. I'm the selfish one.
Yes. Can you not see that? You're
No.
forcing your opinion on everyone in this train.
Now, by this stage, old mate who's got a paunch and a Nike shirt, and he's a preacher for this Torch of Christ church, at this point in time, has never encountered an Australian who will tell you to shut the up.
Right.
We are asking you to shut the up.
See? What did I just say? What did I just say?
And do you know? How selfish is that?
But your behaviour is aggressive.
And then there was this girl that goes, I'm sorry, but your behaviour is aggressive.
Does she need a safe space and a cuddle?
This
and
is-
a headbutt?
This is the Burble. We are available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, also on iHeartRadio, and I think that's it. You'll work it.
Spreaker.
It's Spreaker. You'll download the Spreaker app so you can get it. You'll get notifications every single time. We've gone way over on this podcast, but my name is Benny.
My name is Az.
Now, listen, Az, I didn't even get to the one thing that I really wanted to talk about this week, which is these whole vegan protests.
Oh.
We'll see you next week.
Is it over yet?
The answer is yes.
Oh, thank God for that. Hit us up on the socials and check us out at theburble.com.au. And don't forget to subscribe and share us with all your mates.
Thank you for sharing.
And here's the good news. They're back next week. Really? That's good news?
It's great news.
Here's the taste.
We apologize for this interruption. Unfortunately, a technical problem prevents us continuing our scheduled program for the moment. In the meantime, we bring you a brief alternative program.
I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say. It's water off a duck's back to me. You know what I mean? I know who I am. Let's get it straight. For the first 2 weeks, first week and a half, I was the show. It wasn't Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. It was the Mundine show.